They're rolling right in. Excellent. Okay, welcome everybody. As we get started and people log in, we're excited to join you. Trish and I are excited to join you today just to kind of update you on what's been going on with the RSPA for the first half of the year and share some wins, share some exciting news. Just from a logistics standpoint, there's please put your questions either in the Q&A, share with us where you're from in the chat. But we're really excited to get some good questions and have some great discussions today. So, Trish, I'll let you kick it off right on the top of the hour.
Thanks, Brian, and welcome everybody as you check in. I apologize in advance if I get some background noise. I don't have 250 kids, but I am running an L1 boys 16s, and I'm trying to keep them out of the room, but I don't think that works. But anyway, thank you for logging on. And before we start, I did reach out to Texas, to Tosha, and to Jenny, just giving them our prayers and our best wishes for really the hard news that you are listening to every day about the flooding. So we feel for them. So today's slightly different format, as Brian will point out. We really want to hear a lot from you, a lot of questions. We'll fill you in quickly with updates as to what's going on, but we really want to get some questions from all of you, and nothing's off the table. And we will get started with you, Brian. Give them a quick update. Thanks.
Thanks, Trish. And yeah, I think that's the fun part about this. Nothing's off the table, and I think that's what I love about working with Trish and the board is there is nothing off the table. The things that we've been discussing and the reality of the industry is it's growing and having a great moment right now, but there are also some challenges ahead that we need to continue to make sure that we pay attention to. But I think the tone of today is really about clarity and where the industry is going, where we're going, and how we can help you. I mean, that's at the end of the day, everything we talk about on a daily basis that we've said from the beginning is about you and how can we make your lives, careers, professional experiences better. We're going to open up to the Q&A shortly, so just give us a few minutes to give you a quick update. The industry is truly, and our industry has doubled in size of potential revenue to about $6 billion. And so with tennis growing at about 25 million players so far through 2024, I know that number is trending up as well this year. Pickleball with 19 million players, fastest growing sport in America. Padel continues to grow, new courts popping up everywhere, new facilities, new combination facilities, paddle and pickle, paddle pickle tennis, and all kinds of those. And in really interesting places around the country, you've got a lot of people really interested in our space. And so I think that's one of the reasons that we really believe that we have to continue to professionalize not only our industry, but our profession that we're in, which is in the racket sports profession. So the more we can help you do that and feel great about our profession, the better we're all going to be. And so, while the growth is truly exciting and there's never been a better time to be in. I mean, with continues to grow, platform is still thriving in its market. Squash is also really growing and has some new initiative too that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But as we look at all the sports that are now, I think that's the thing to remember is we're now 5 sports under one membership, and we're the only, and we're unique in that regard because you don't join us 4 or 5 times, you join us once, and so all the benefits you get from your multi-sport membership is all under one umbrella. So we're excited about that, and we hope you remember that that really is a benefit for being part of the Racket Sports Professionals Association. We've got a ton of wins so far this year, and I think the wins come in really in terms of how they've benefited you, and at least we hope you're seeing this. Some of them, just to give you a quick highlight, membership, we're going to hit our all-time high this year, which is our all-time high was in 2021, right after the pandemic, where a lot of people had come back and joined, and that was a big number, and we're trending well ahead of that so far this year. Just in tennis workshops alone, we've had a 23% increase in participation and signups, and that's all around the country. We've got amazing coach developers that are running these workshops, both virtually and then in person. Our level 1 and level 2 workshops have just been outstanding. Again, it's driven by the people, and the people that are running these workshops are getting great reviews and having great experiences. Our new member applications this year is up 31%, which is another enormous number when you think about, we think our markets are mature and you think, we're at a state, but when you look at the size of the industry and how it's growing, that number kind of makes sense. Pickleball is up about 27% this year in new membership and workshops. Paddle, we're going to put that up like 1,000,000% because we started from zero, but that was a big win for us too. In partnership with Marcos del Pilar, we created our own intellectual property with our own Padel certification. And thanks to the team here that did all the video and all the shooting and all the editing, we got that live, and we've already had 100 people go through Marcos's Padel certification at the first 5 stops of the year. Platform tennis is kind of back. We re-engaged and we've gone through a good, I think, 5 or 6 certifications and bringing some momentum back to platform as well. So lots of really good, and as far as the numbers go, we're really happy with what we're seeing in the market. And I think what's that showing is people are having great experiences. And if you have a great experience in these in-person workshops, you're going to have a great experience normally with the membership. We've got a couple new partnerships, again, to benefit you. Some are brand new as of last Friday. One of the first ones on the tennis side, though, is a partnership with the GPTCA and the ATP Tour and Seagull Institute to be part of a new high performance workshops across the country. They did their first one, I think it was in Jacksonville, and then they're getting ready to do another. They're doing one in New Jersey coming up this summer, and lots more to come on that. So we really hadn't had a focus on high performance or an option, and this is a brand new option for us, and we're really excited about the partnership. We had a call with the leadership from the GPTCA a couple of weeks ago, and they're just thrilled to partner with us because they know the quality of our membership. We announced last Friday that we've partnered with MyDuper, or Duper Coach, sorry. And Duper Coach is a credential that you can earn once you become an RSPA pickleball member. The credential allows you to rate and host Duper rating clinics. And so there have been some of the Duper coaches already that have done this and are earning some very, very good money, charging about $25 a person for these rating clinics. And then you can host other clinics to help people improve their Duper rating. And Duper is easily the industry standard when it comes to the ratings. And so for tournaments and events and stuff. So that is an exciting one. So if you're currently an RSPA pickleball member, for $50, you can do an add-on and add the MyDuper Coach to it, and you'll be ready to start hosting the Duper clinics. More on the pickleball side, we've become accredited with USA Pickle, and so we're one of 3 associations that are accredited through them as our certification process. You'll hear more about that coming up very soon. And if you're an RSPA member, you'll then be part of the USAP, which also has another list of benefits that comes along with that. So really good stuff there. A couple more things, and I'll turn it over to Trish for a sec so I can stop talking. But we launched our own career center. So we have left some of the other partners. We've now done our own career center. It's really thriving. I encourage you, if you haven't created a profile there, create a profile. That's where people are looking for people to hire. We've had about 50 employers start to populate that and start to look for employees there on the job site in the career center. So really excited about that. Our social media presence is up in the thousands of percents as well. We've been a lot more active on social media, really highlighting our members and your success stories, which has been really terrific. And I think that's one of the things we really do celebrate is your success, because without your success, we don't have success, and that's what we need in our industry. We need you guys to thrive. And then just lastly, we announced earlier in the year that we're expanding our international presence, and that is really just beginning to kick off, and you'll start to hear more from us on that really in the 3rd to 4th quarter of the year. So it's been a busy first 6 months. We've had a lot of great stuff. Our team here has just been working their fingers to the bone. They've actually asked me not to have any new ideas for the next 4 months. which is really hard. So I'm trying. And if they're listening right now, I promise I am trying. Now it's out in public. But I really do appreciate them. And then, our
Does that apply to me too?
no, 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 no. You're in charge. You're the president. You can do anything you want. But the national board has put a lot of their time and effort into, again, and I think that's one of the things I really enjoyed the most is, we've had representation at all the divisional conferences this year, which is great to hear from you, hear what you're asking for, hear what you need, and hear what we can do better. And so I think Trish and the rest of the board have done a phenomenal job of participating there. And our divisional leadership has really done a wonderful job of engagement. Our executive directors, same. I just think everybody is really committed to making sure that we're doing what we can to make sure you're being successful. All right, Trish, your turn.
No, I just want to know that if I really get involved in pickleball, can I get in that TV ad with Matt Damon and David Beckham?
Yeah, no kidding. I think they're still looking for the pickle.
That's very clever. But actually, while you're seeing if you get any questions or anything, I went to the International Pickleball Convention down in Fort Lauderdale last weekend, and it was well done, better than last time. More vendors. They had a tournament and they had lots of free play and lots of demonstrations and gifts. So, but I did meet a very interesting man from Peru, a young promoter who I think has formed 3 or 4 international pickleball federations down in South America, and he is now putting together the World Pickleball Cup in Fort Lauderdale in November. So I would like to see how that works because he wants it to work sort of like the World Cup in football, where every country has a team. But seeing as so many of the pickleball people seem to be fighting with one another, I want to see how the United States puts forward a team. But anyway, obviously that sport is growing, particularly to a certain demographic. But I know that's one of the reasons we changed our name, not just because of pickleball, but squash is coming to the Olympics, which I'm very happy about. And I know we're working hard to get that to be expanded as far as our members are concerned. And I spoke to, I think Ramona told me we had 25 pickleball coach developers, and
Right.
Marcos is
Right.
beginning to bring together his list of people to be able to also help him out with the coach developers in Padel. So I like really all the directions we're going, but if anybody has anything in particular right off the bat, we'll take it. Otherwise, we'll just keep bouncing back and forth with some news.
I've got one from Raymond. What's being done to promote the new job board to employers? Before the changes, USTA Find a Pro was by far the best job board in our industry. It was basic, but employers used it. I think we tried a new solution on the job board, which kind of promised a greater database. It was too cumbersome, and it was too manual from our side and from the third party provider side. So we wanted something that was going back to simple. And so, but we have partnered with this company that is in this job search business behind the scenes, and they're actually out promoting our job board and our website in a big way. And then we hope to have some additional assets that we add to that later this year.
So I got a question
Go ahead.
about people that want to get certified in additional sports. They have our one membership, right? So that's the benefit of being a member of RSPA, and then they seek the certification that they're looking for under that umbrella, right?
Correct.
So they just
Yep,
call the office if they have somebody that wants to expand to squash or
exactly.
padel.
Yep.
Okay.
And all you do is sign up for the workshop, and find the workshop in your area, and you're in. So yeah, no other process other than that. So it's really pretty simple. Jane's asking, please start thinking about liability insurance for international countries. We are. That's a great point. If you do live in the U.S., you are covered while you travel on a limited basis. We've looked into that, but we do need to have a certificate, an option for insurance with this international business growing and the potential there. So thanks for that, Jane. I'll let you take this one first, and then I'll chime in too. But Roosevelt asks, this is kind of the elephant in the room, is the USTA considered competitors to the RSPA in the tennis coaching and instruction space?
Well, I would not think so at the moment, but obviously in the past we've worked closely with USTA and we still work very closely with a lot of the division and section leadership with joint events and joint meetings. So we have right from the beginning supported their community coach level workshops. And I think we just forge ahead doing what we are doing best. We believe that we are very strong membership wise, certification wise, education wise. And as they're sort of struggling to get started, and I don't think they really are truly organized yet, I just feel that we are not in competition. We are doing what we do, and we're the best in the industry. So, Roosevelt, if you have any other comment, please let us know. But I think that it'll take them a long time to reach the level that we have reached, as we have learned as we've gone along too, as we've expanded and gotten more and more experience in the certification and on the online and virtual certifications, then I think that we're way ahead of everybody else.
What I think is interesting is, about half of our industry is unregulated. And to me, that's a big problem. So I don't worry about competition. As a matter of fact, in any market, you have to be, competitors only make you better. And so bringing in new coaches is a good idea. Having them have some sort of education is a phenomenal idea. But, we need a regulated industry. And I think that's, the most important thing. And we've been doing this for about 98 years. And so one of the things that we've done from a positioning standpoint is that's one of the reasons we expanded into multiple racket sports. The industry is changing and growing, and with that, we're seeing about 70% of facilities right now in the United States have more than one racket sport. So if you want to regulate an industry in the industry that we're in, which is changing, you've got to be on top of that and you've got to be ahead and leading. And I think that's really where we're coming from. I think the other really important thing to think about too is, it's the network that you're part of really becomes your net worth. And the network that we've built, not only from the years that we've been in the industry, but also from our divisional support, from our national board, and from the engagement you have from our membership and the passion that our members have, that's what we believe in. And that's kind of the purpose-driven industry or association that we are part of. And if you're on this call and you're part of our association, then you also are probably purpose-driven and really passionate about this and want to do this as a profession. Just to have some.
I think, don't we feel that the USTA is responsible for growing the sport, bringing in new players, and we in turn make them better players and expand their interest in the sport? And I've always said to them in our meetings when they say that, 35 for 35, then great, but make sure that you also have enough courts for everybody to play on and that we're not losing them to other sports or to multi-purpose facilities. But I think we all want to grow the sport. We're pulling in that direction together.
Exactly. And I think just the last thing on that for now, and we're happy to answer more about it, but we're in this for your entire career journey. And that is on the court, off the court. It's as you look for new jobs, as you want to network. Our mentorship program is incredibly strong. With Kevin Theos and his group. And again, you join our association the next day, you can have a mentor helping you, guiding you through the process and through other interview processes and looking for your next job and looking to become a director and things like that. So I think you have to look at the whole package of what you get, just like you do anything. When you're buying a car, you're buying a house, you're joining an organization, you got to kind of know what you're getting. Let's see. Tracy asks, I was certified with USPTA tennis, IPTPA pickleball. I also registered to pay dues with the PTR. My pickleball professional cert was picked up by the USPTA. I assume if I continue with the RSPA, do I need to continue to pay annual dues with? No, don't pay dues with anybody else. All of your certifications also can assimilate. So if you have pickleball from IPTPA, we recognize that, and that'll fall under your RSPA umbrella. Same thing with PTR or PPR or any other association that we recognize. So yeah, no need to pay multiple dues to multiple associations. And there is no increased dues with multiple certifications. That was another question from Tracy. All right, I'm going to ask Trish, I'm going to ask, this is a little bit long from Michael. With the recent bill that passed in DC last week and the cuts, $1 trillion in the next 10 years to health insurance, how is this going to affect tennis and rackets professionals? Premiums go up and they may lose their health insurance. Cuts can start next year. What's our options? Any suggestions? Could affect the independent contractors in the industry and the racket pros but also those that work for a club or a company.
Wow, that's a long question. And certainly in Florida, the insurance industry is a mess. But I know that we offer health insurance through our partners, correct? With
Yes.
I think
Yep.
it,
Yeah. With
so
LIG
with
online as a
LIG,
marketplace.
right? That is an option, obviously, and I don't think that we're going to raise any of our rates anytime soon. I mean,
Mm-mm.
occasionally we raise it $5 here and there every 3 or 4 years to cover any expenses, but otherwise, I don't see that happening. But I think the insurance industry is becoming very hard to understand. And certainly in the state of Florida, where I'm from, everything has gone up 100% almost. You know, homeowners, health, people are becoming concierge doctors and not taking patients. So I can't really answer the question because I think the industry is a mess at the moment. People are leaving Florida. But I don't see it affecting our industry as much. But if you're talking about having a club that provides your insurance, I believe that they will continue to do that as long as you're certified. I can't see that affecting the individual tennis professionals and that are RSPA members.
And I would agree with you. I don't think that's an issue today because I think the business is thriving and there's such a high need right now for professionals. It's kind of a buyer's market. So if you're good and you're an amazing professional right now, you have ample opportunities and multiple opportunities across the country for some great jobs. I mean, some terrific jobs. And so I think again, those are things that you got to network within your RSPA groups to find out what's happening and stay on top of the industry like that too. I think that's really important that we share information like this so you do know, what options are out there for sure.
I think Jane in the chat said she's used the health insurance. Jane, are
Yeah.
you on? Do you
Yeah.
want to comment about it? Because I know a lot of people don't know we have that.
Yeah, I don't think they can. I'm not sure why they can't comment, but I
Unless
think
you let her in, she probably
yeah,
can't. But
yeah, but no, I've had really positive feedback from members who've used LIG, and again, it's a
yeah.
marketplace, but because we're part of a bigger group, it gives you some really great rates, and some things that you can't get, as far as being independent or 1099. Good question, Sarah. Has anything been done to improve tennis resources, or where do you recommend looking for online resources? The short answer is we're doing a break fix right now on tennis resources. It's on our to-do list. Next week, we'll be launching our brand new RSPA.net website, and that's been kind of the primary focus for us so far this year. And that's going to be it's going to be amazing, but it's been a full 6 months of work to get that up and running. So that's been the priority. We've also really focused on from internal side is really making sure our foundation is very strong. That includes our system that runs all of our certification and our membership, which has been sorely needed in an upgrade. That includes our website. That also includes our financial systems. And so there's been a lot of fundamental work we've been doing behind the scenes to make your experience better. But tennis resources definitely on the list. Mike Hurley, Trish, I'll give you this one too. Thanks for being here, Hurls. How goes it approaching high school associations and their memberships to more closely align with the RSPA IE certification? Great question.
A good question. And I know that if Mark Faber's on the call, we have formed a high school task force, or actually two different areas of work that we're working towards that I think will develop even more in 2026. In fact, I've talked to a lot of the college and high school coaches that have been at my event this week, my L1 for the 16s and 18s. And we realize that that is where our new level ones or even our part-time professionals will come from in the future. A lot of people, I think, take high school coaches to work with their summer camps and high school kids, tennis teams to work with their summer camps. So we realize we have to work more closely with high school. We would like to be able to educate more of those high school coaches because many of them are history teachers or just, we need you. What do you know about tennis? Well, I play, but that's it. So we feel that that is certainly an area that we could help them develop as coaches. And we bring the players themselves through a pathway that would allow them to come to some of our workshops or our seminars and give them access to some of our online drills and things for the coaches.
Yeah, and we've invited high school, and I know our divisions have really embraced the high schools and invite. I know Northern, Midwest, Texas is really involved, and a lot of other divisions, not off the top of my head, but have really gotten the high school coaches involved too, for exactly what Trish just said. So, it's that more education is better, but I think we can continue to do more on that hurdles because I also think the high school coaches are a lead gen for new professionals, in the future with their high school teams.
And I think leading into that, we had a discussion with the college coaches and everything today with about NIL and how it's affecting the high school players and the people coming into college. And I didn't know that like Navy and Army, they don't even have the opportunity to provide any NIL because their so-called players are employees because of the structure of the Navy and the Army. So, I mean, it's the whole, I think NIL is affecting tennis not so much, but I think it's trickling down to tennis in high school and obviously to the college level.
Yeah, college, I mean, I would say that's one of our call to actions as an industry is we really need to advocate for college tennis. I mean, we did a rough poll that 82% of professionals played college tennis, and a good majority of them were Division One as well. So that is our probably our single biggest lead generation for new professionals in our industry. So without college tennis, that would become a much smaller pool with the industry growing this way and college tennis potentially shrinking, we've got some challenges there. So I talked to Dave Mullins from the ITA last week, and talk to if high school or if university presidents, university athletic directors, host a team at your facility and do a fundraiser for them, help them with court time. I mean, anything to do, the top schools in the country are not the ones hurting. It's Division Two, Division Three, NAIA, JUCOs. Those are the ones that really need our help. So as an industry and as dependent on the college system to help be a farm system for our industry, we really need to band together on that. So any ideas you guys have, let us know. We're happy to help promote that and help the ITA with that.
I think it's important if they can offer them playing facilities because they are losing their facilities, they're losing their funding. And obviously, once that happens, tennis is down low on the list at a lot of the schools, and the whole program just gets cut, both boys and girls.
Let's see. Will the Hawaii convention be streamed online? It will not be live, but it will be. It'll be a day delayed, but we will have that available as well. So if you can't make it to Hawaii, which we'll talk about in just a second, you will have that available. We have some amazing speakers. Okay, I'm going to talk about it now. We have the theme for Hawaii. Last year, we rebranded the association after about a 4 or 5 year process of doing that. And this year, we're talking about rebranding you. And one of our speakers at last year's convention, Kevin Warren, asked a really big question that keeps sitting on the top on my shoulder, which is, are you reinventing yourself every year? What version of the iPhone are you? Are you the iPhone 7 or the iPhone 16? And if you're not reinventing yourself every year, you're falling behind. So we think it's incumbent on us as your trade association and your partners to help you rebrand yourself. And that is everything from rebranding your LinkedIn pages to resumes to interview skills. We're going to have a speaking competition, but it's also thinking about things a little bit differently. And a lot of our speakers are going to talk about what it means to change and do things that make you uncomfortable, but what those changes look like on the other side. So we really hope you can join us in Hawaii. It's going to be an amazing experience. We're really embracing the island theme, and so our theme for that is a new wave begins in Hawaii, and that new wave is you. So we're really excited about that. Check it out online on our website. But I know the hotel rooms are getting tight, but we still do have room, and we'll have a new link up for the next lot of hotel rooms by the end of this week.
I know that Ashlyn, when she did her little presentation at the XCOM meeting, was very popular. Everybody wanted to hire her to take them back to. So anybody that's not coming to Hawaii, you're missing out on learning how to really use the internet properly.
Yeah, so Ashlyn is
All
our
social and
content
all social
creator.
media.
Exactly. Ashlyn is our content creator we have here. She's going to do some individual sessions in Hawaii to teach you how to really use social media, understand the log algorithms, and really make it a useful tool for you. So there's just a lot of great stuff that we're really looking forward to there. Let's see. Dave Newhart, thanks for joining. Yes, we need to support college tennis. Probably needs to be a promotional piece. Can be sent to all colleges promoting health aspects of living longer. Love that. Good call. Wayne's asking, I live in an area where there are no clubs. I'd like to get a few specialist degrees, but how do I do that when I'm not employed full-time in tennis? That's where I would go on to tennis resources. You may have to travel a bit. One thing I'd love to encourage people to do going forward is, if you might live in Missouri Valley, but go to a divisional conference in another division. Go to Florida, go to Texas, go to Eastern, meet some new people there, but find out who the speakers are and who the presenters are. But I encourage people to really travel a bit and meet some new people. And if you're on the younger side of our association and you're looking to, I'd love to live in Texas someday. We had a guy actually we met in Florida who came from another state because he was looking for jobs in Texas, and he networked or in Florida, and he networked the entire time. And I thought that was a really good strategy. So, if they're not around you, there's certainly some online options, but I would also encourage you to travel a little bit and go visit some other divisions. Let's see. Can you please touch on UTR in regards to college tennis? I think where college ITA is really aligned with the USTA on the WTN. That was a lot of acronyms. But I do believe college coaches are looking at both UTR and WTN. But because the ITF is really behind and driving the WTN, it's a more balanced way that coaches can look at international players and compare them to domestic players as well. So the last I've heard on that. I know UTR is still running a bunch of events, and their rating system is still, active and thriving. But I think WTN is becoming the kind of the de facto.
Yeah, I think the ITF is really the big gorilla pushing that at the moment, even though UTR is still, as far as the kids are concerned, important to them too.
I would say, Trish, I'm going to ask you a question that somebody else wrote in. How can I efficiently add additional certifications? Meaning, we talked about it before, but somebody asked it again. So, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
They're already a member and they want to
Yes.
expand
Yep,
into
exactly.
Padel or,
Mhm.
well, obviously we offer them more and more frequently. A lot of the information is online. Some of it to progress even further, you would have to do in person. But I know that, as I said when we first started, that we have 25 coach developers. So there's a lot of pickleball, I think, spread out pretty evenly throughout all of our divisions, and more than one a year. Certainly every 3 months or so, we have something that would hopefully be within driving distance for anybody, even if it isn't in their division. But we usually post on our website, or we can certainly tell them if they call the office when the next 5 or 6 certifications are for any of the sports. Padel is growing, and the number of courts is certainly growing. And I know Marco is trying to keep up, but it's amazing the number of courts that are going in. And I think because squash is coming to the Olympics, then I think you'll see a boom in certain areas where squash is now played. But certainly, I think you'll find more and more of the clubs and professionals expanding their certifications. So if you're looking for something specific, I would call the office and just see where in the next few months would be something to that you might be able to attend. And I see Marcos is on, so I'm promoting you, Marcos.
As always, as always. Well, I think that one of the other questions that came in was, what is the RSPA doing to promote certified professionals at facilities? That's a really good one. And so what you're going to start seeing from us is a new campaign that we're launching called the Higher Standard. And, the positioning of what we do and who we are is a higher standard. We've been doing this for 98 years. We have the longest history, and we actually created the certification game in this business. And so not only do we expect a higher standard from ourselves, but we also think the industry should have a higher standard. And so that is going to be the communication when I talk to leadership at the CMAA, when we go to events like Racquet or the PGA show where racket sports is becoming more and more prevalent. We're going to talk about the RSPA being the higher standard. When you live and breathe the industry like we do, I think that's a really important umbrella to fall under, which is so impactful on what you do to people's lives. And I think that's really, as we talk about our purpose-driven intentions, the higher standard is exactly who we are and who we achieve and aspire to be in this industry.
And I think a lot of our members of the XCOM, the leaders of the boards in our divisions, and certainly some of our own national board have become CMAA members and have taken that extra step, whether they intend to take it even further job-wise, but it's a learning opportunity, but it's a great networking opportunity, and their courses are tremendous. And their international meetings and conferences are great, but even so, they have, I think, regional ones too that are very useful. And I know that Milos and Rich have become very involved, and that's where we can make a difference, I think, is to make sure that all of those people that end up either supporting the rackets director or the tennis director or the tennis committee know what we do as an organization.
I would encourage, I had a call with one of the general managers this week and her tennis committee from Chicago and had a good chat and talked about the industry. Volunteer to do that, or volunteer one of us, or Trish or somebody from the board to do that. We're happy to be kind of industry spokespeople on your behalf, because we can quote facts, but we can also talk about the trends in the industry. And as we have more dialogue with CMAA and other commercial facilities and things like that, we become the authority in that space. As a matter of fact, we have opportunities to actually help the CMAA rewrite their curriculum for racket sports. So they're looking to us as the leaders in the industry, which we're really excited about. A couple more questions. Michael Lalong, what are the 6 RSPA certifications? Actually, there's 5. It is, and you had them right. It's tennis, pickle, squash, platform, and pickleball. Will we add more racket sports? Right now, I would say our plate is full. As you heard me say earlier, there is nothing new happening, at least until our foundation is solid. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't look into it. I think we should consider all, but we got to look at what the market opportunity is. But at the end of the day, the consumer drives really where our market is going to go. And if you look at the impact that pickleball has had on the racket sports industry, that's because of consumer drive, and the consumers have driven that business. So, but I think the answer is we're always open and looking, but we also have to realize what we can handle and execute really, really well.
Michael, did you have anything in mind? I mean, like badminton?
Oh, yes. He said badminton, table tennis, or touch tennis. Let's see. Dave Newhart. Is there a way to help support college teams by being visitors guests at clubs around the country when they travel? Oh, I love this idea. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, if you're a club or a facility and teams are traveling, host them. Bring them in, let them play with your members, have them engage and interact. I think that's a terrific idea and a great way we can actually represent and help promote college tennis, because when you get young men and young women in front of club members, they have a great time. Put a mixer together, have a pro-am. I think that's a really nice idea.
We did that at Bellin Isles when I was there, and we did it with Yale a couple of years, and the girls were great. The members really enjoyed it. So I encourage you to reach out to any colleges that are close by to you. They don't have to be Division I, because the players are great, boys, girls, whatever. They really are very sociable and great stories too. Backgrounds are interesting to the members as well.
Jenny Gray asks, this is for you, Trish. What is our strategy to have higher standards than, say, the new USTA program? How are we moving the needle?
Well, I think daily we move the needle by what we do, Jenny, and you're part of it. Thank you very much. And I just think that we're continuing to grow, continuing to get better. As they say, bigger isn't always better, but certainly having the members out in the field and reaching out to all the consumers, that really helps us grow. And we try to work with people like the USTA to make sure that we have plenty of facilities, good facilities, and that they provide funds for helping with those facilities. But I just think that it's up to us to, I think, be in the forefront, to give great lessons, to have people spread the word about who we are and what we do, and to make sure that the consumers understand that it is important to have a certified professional with safe play and background checks. And I had somebody walk into the desk yesterday that was looking for a job, so I referred him to the manager here. And the first question she asked is, "Are you certified?" And he said no. And she said, "Sorry, you know, can't give you a job, get certified because you need to be safe play, background checked, and certified to work here." So that's important for us, but it's also important for the consumer and the club. So I think get out there on a daily basis and make sure that the people that you teach understand what it means to be you, that you've done your homework, you've done your studies, and you are certified for a good level of being able to teach.
I think just to add to that, I think that's why we are now 5 sports under one umbrella, because that's where the industry is. The industry has changed, and I think the industry is moving. And, so if other competitors come into this space at each sport level, that's great. We have to make sure that we're providing the best quality of what we can for each of those individual sports. But we're looking at the entire racket sports industry as a whole now. And I think that's another, just a different point of view that we have versus anybody else. Tennis will continue to be, 90% of who we are, at least in the short to near term. But at the end of the day, the industry is changing, and we have to change with it, which is, how we kind of got to the rebrand idea as well. And I think the other thing is just signing up and becoming an instant member doesn't make you a high quality member. And I think that's the other thing. We really strive. That higher standard that you mentioned in your question, Jenny, is really about being educated, continuous education, growing every day. So the one time you have an experience with a customer, they think it's amazing. And that's what we want our association to represent and to emulate, is amazing experiences. We can't control anything outside of our association. The only thing we can control is how people feel. And if people feel great when they take a lesson or they have an encounter with an RSPA member, then we're winning. And when you guys who are on the call win, we all win. And if our experience is better than other people's, then great. If we're falling behind, then we need to improve that. But I think that's really where we continue to differentiate, regardless of money and size and who's in this space. That's the one thing that we think we really truly care about is how people feel and how our careers are being built through our association.
I think we also provide opportunities for our members to grow and to learn more about the business side of it, and to learn how to handle your staff and how to make sure you have one-on-one meetings with your staff to learn more about what they want to do, and maybe you can push them to grow and eventually leave and get a better job. So there's a way for all of us to become even better at what we do. But I think the workshops for the business side, the financial side, and everything we provide can make you a more experienced and better professional.
Lori's asking, are you going to embrace more of the entry-level coach certification programs? This will start them in the RSPA, continue to grow within the organization. Thanks. Our level 1, which is our first level, our instructor level, is full. We went back to in person at the end of last year, and those workshops are completely full. But we don't want ever to compete on price, because that's not a world we're going to be in. If you want a cheaper cheaper option, there are other options out there, and we appreciate it. And good luck. So we're really looking at quality, but we also have introduced an apprenticeship program, for kids from 14 to 18 or 17, just to get their foot in the door, kind of like what you suggest. Get them access to tennis resources, get them, hooked up with Advantage Magazine and RSI, and then, continue to build from there. But I think those are certainly, and again, that's where the high school coaches program comes in, other opportunities to really get that person who's looking or considering this as a career. And we all have to be salespeople when it comes to that as well. We've got to help sell these careers and our careers, and talk about the benefits, talk about what it means to, really change people's lives like you do every day.
I think the tennis on campus has been ignored for the last like 5 years. Before it was thriving, and now you hardly ever hear about it. And I think, again, that's an area where we can reach out and be helpful. And some of those people might want to follow in this profession. If they think about it as a full-time career, that's great. If they just want to be part-time but be involved, that's good too.
Just to clarify, that was Kelly, not Jenny. She was borrowing her login, so we don't. I love it. Let's see. I also wanted to mention we've got some new partners, and I know there was a question about, are all our partners ethical and or just monetary? Well, we do vet our partners, and our partners have been really, really supportive. Tennis Warehouse and their support through Nike, Adidas, Asics, and Fila, Babolat, Prince, and Technofiber on the racket side. Dunlop has been an amazing partner on the tennis ball side, and has Selkirk with nets and balls. But we're also seeing, really the criteria is, what do we think is going to benefit the membership? And things like Swing Vision and some of the other new ones that we have, which are really beneficial to you and building your business, or creating resources to help you build your business. That's really where we're trying to go. We'd love to bring in, like looking at some of our counterparts in other industries, we'd love to have some bigger ticket sponsors, so that we can use some of those dollars to invest more in new programming, new education, new facilities, things, or new seminars and things like that. So that's really where, and we've brought on Tim Buick to be our business development director, who's working arduously to try to bring in some larger sponsors, maybe a mobile phone company, maybe a drink or a credit card, or things like that. That would give us opportunities to partner more with really industry leaders and industry initiatives, who are taking industry initiatives. So that's really our strategy there.
I think we're expanding our business development areas. And again, we can reach out to you as well, because you come in contact with so many people that are possibly corporate people that head up large companies, or know somebody that knows somebody. And I've had great calls from pros that say, hey, I know so-and-so, and would you mind contacting them? And so I think that don't think that you're not the pipeline to maybe a new sponsorship or an endorsee. So don't hesitate to call one of us.
Absolutely. I mean, you're the best. Yeah, I think you're right, Trish. You're the best source. You're on the ground every day. John Ramsey just made a comment, which I think is great. We need to push newer members to attend conferences. The Florida conference was fantastic. My mentor pushed me to go. I'd like to see the assistant pros maybe get a lesser charge to attend these. We view disparate pricing. We used to have it for director and assistants. Maybe revisit that. I think the divisional conferences are phenomenal, and I've now been to every division over the last 2 years. So thanks for the comment, John. I think you're right. We ought to look at that, because I think the more networking, the more exposure you have at these conferences, the better. So that's a great statement. Thanks for that.
Right. And if you're a tennis director, please ask your general manager or tennis committee or somebody head of finance, who, depending on the level of your club, to allow for an educational budget for your assistant pros. Because often, you're right, the directors get to go, and sometimes they have to pay their way, but most of the time the directors get some sort of financial assistance, but the others get left behind. And yes, somebody has to mind the shop, but you can rotate that. So try to get some financial backing to have your assistants or your other pros come to some of at least attend some of the local conferences and meetings if possible.
Exactly. And I think that's really, I think I said this in one of our first town halls. You get out of your membership in the RSPA what you put into it. And so if you do attend the divisional conferences, if you attend the town halls, if you go to the national conference, I think that's really that's how you engage. And there's opportunities to volunteer on committees. Actually, we're going to have that'll come out very shortly, probably early August, the new committees that are available to volunteer on. Divisions have work, divisions all have work to do. So there's never a lack of need for your support and your engagement. So if you're newer in the association, reach out to your divisional president, reach out to your executive director, reach out to me or Trish or any of the national board. We're happy to get you involved. And many people have done that over the last year, and we really appreciate, because this is a we. This is not a me or a Trish or an I. This is truly a we organization.
And it's a step to maybe getting more involved on a division board or a national board too, if you begin even just doing local meetings and things like that. You learn a lot, and a lot of those get great speakers, and our endorsees like to see the people that they're selling to, also the clubs. But I'm going to also reach out to all of you because I'm heading up a 100th anniversary for 2027 for RSPA, and we're looking at a lot of different and great ideas. But if any of you have any old photos stuck away in your files of anything to do with tennis, your club, USPTA, or anything, pull them out and take a look and let us know if you want to scan them, and maybe we can use them in some sort of display. We've got some great ideas, great thoughts, but we might need to have you go back into your archives and dig out some old stuff. So be thinking about 2027,
Exactly
but
right.
we're trying to plan now.
So as we did mention, this year's World Conference is in Hawaii. Next year is in Dallas, Texas. We have not been back to Texas in many years, so we're excited about that. So 2026 in Dallas. And then as Trish mentioned, 2027, our 100th anniversary, will be in Orlando, very close to our headquarters, which will be an absolute blast. Couple other questions. We had another plug for beach tennis growing rapidly. We've been invited actually to go play beach tennis not far from the office here, so we'll go do that, and then but we will probably have to put that on the docket for a little bit later. James is asking, when will pickleball certification come back to Chicagoland? Reach out to your executive director, Greg Ayton. Reach out to your division leaders. We need them to schedule more workshops, and so it's a push and a pull. A lot of people are looking for the workshops, and if they're not on the calendar, they won't sign up. And if you put a calendar, you don't want to put a date on the calendar, then have it cancel. So, but reach out to your divisions and let them know that you're interested, and that's really the best source for that. What are the steps to get involved in boards? I think it's reach out to your divisional, probably start with your executive directors or reach out to your divisional leadership. All of their info is online, or you can always just reach out to me or Trish or any of us, and we can lead you in that direction. Everything is usually on a 2-year cycle, and we have the nominating committee has just confirmed the next national board for next year, which is very exciting, and that's actually published in this month's issue of RSI and Advantage Magazine. But it's very exciting on that.
But
And
reach out to, if you want to be on a committee, submit your name to be considered. We ask you if you would like to be on a certain committee, but if you just put no, I just would be interested in serving, then that helps us maybe slot you into a different spot. So
Christine asked, not sure if I'm missing it, but is there a way to get RSPA logo gear? Yes, as a matter of fact, Tennis Warehouse just launched a microsite, I think yesterday, or this past weekend, with a new selection of RSPA gear. So take advantage of that. And Tennis Warehouse does have a new discount code. So if you've tried it recently, you should have gotten an email directly with the new discount code. But again, they've been terrific partners in all stretches, and they've supported every one of our divisional conferences, as well as our national conference, and they've just been terrific partners. So make sure to support them. And we bring these partners on, A, because they want to be associated with our membership, but B, they've got commercial interest as well. So please keep them in mind when you have purchases to make, and And when you have decisions to make, if you can lean towards our partners and our endorsees, we really do appreciate that.
And just left everybody a message, I think, from tennis
RSPA
grounds.
emailed the link to microsite to the members today. Perfect. Yeah, take advantage. It's good looking stuff, and we'll have some stuff at the World Conference, and we'll have some stuff available afterwards as well. Will the RSPA benefits such as liability insurance ever extend if one works internationally? Susan, feel free to reach out to me or to the office. Yours does cover you internationally on a limited basis if you work there. But we are also working with our partner there to determine if there's opportunities to have an international package on there. One more thing on insurance is we do actually have rarely very inexpensive and cost-effective sexual and harassment molestation insurance, which is becoming more and more critical and more needed around the country. So if you are interested or need more information on that, don't hesitate to reach out as well. Let's see, we're almost at the top of the hour. Another plug for beach tennis, another plug for certification. I love that.
I just want to make sure that people feel very free to submit suggestions about anything, new committees, ways to do the division conferences differently, more or less webinars, types of webinars, topics. We can't always get it right. So please submit anything to the office or to me or to Brian. And we might have promised the national office that we won't try anything new, but don't believe that. I'll try anything.
I said that with a straight face, Trish. I promise. I'm just gonna one more question that came in. What's the RSPA's view on online only certifications from other organizations?
Want me to answer that?
See the smirk on your face. That's why I asked you that question.
Well, I think online is great for a lot of reasons because some people can't travel, don't have the time. And if they're done well and properly with the right tools and the right people, then I think you do get a lot out of it. And that's why I think we certainly have to quickly get the old tennis resources up and working more in the 22nd century if possible.
Exactly, right.
But I think when you get to the point where you're reaching up in your career to past the elite level and you want to get more, I think you have to spend some time on the court being watched to make sure that you're, I think, exhibiting all of the tools that we hope that you have.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
Some people are terrible at a group lesson, and I think that's some of the things you have to learn as you progress.
I agree. Well said. Okay, just to wrap up, we have a couple other kind of calls to action for you. Anytime you're interested in certification, workshops, educational opportunities. As a matter of fact, we're hosting a women's seminar in Cleveland, August 21st, which is Thursday morning from 9 to 12. Trish is going to be there hosting with a great lineup of speakers. That is now live online. You can find that under the education opportunities on the website. But every certification and workshop that we have is at rspa.net. Remember, one membership, 5 sports. That is a really important differentiation for us as well as a benefit to you. We didn't raise the membership prices. We didn't raise the dues. We bundled it all together in a way that is a benefit to you. So if you have not expanded your certifications, get into pickleball, get into padel, get into these other sports. If nothing else, it's going to make you a better professional in the sport that you do the most.
And if you can't make it to Hawaii, please don't forget to log on to see what you missed, unfortunately. But we understand that not everybody can make it.
I also want to make an invitation. This is your home. Our home is your home here in Orlando. We love to have people here. We had a couple of our members visit last week. We love to roll out the red carpet and welcome you here. If you're in town for 5 minutes or for 5 days, you're always welcome. This is your house. So please join us. Please visit us. Just let us know you're coming. And we'd love to go hit some balls. We'd love to just have a chat, have a coffee, but you're always welcome here. And again, connect
Brian,
with
go over again what the higher standard is, just so that they understand what we're pushing at the moment.
So the higher standard is really what we expect out of ourselves and out of our industry. We expect to have higher standards as far as quality certification because we've been in this industry and in this business for the last 98 years. We're not just here to teach. We're teaching people how to lead, and we're also trying to stay ahead and growing the industry at a high level. We want this half of our industry that's unregulated to become part of an association so that we have some standards that we can all work on and achieve together. And I think it also stands for, we don't want just people showing up and signing up and getting a credential. We want people that actually go through the work, put in the time to become a true professional in our industry.
And if you have something that we didn't cover today, please reach out to us, okay? We want to make sure that we're answering all of your questions and helping you in the areas that you want help in.
And last but not least, this has been recorded. And last question, sorry, does PPR certification carry over? Yes, it does. Just call the office, show them your credential, and you do not have to recertify for that. But this will be recorded on Tennis Resources. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for joining us. Trish, as always, these have been a lot of fun. We've done 6 months of them. Or no, actually, we've almost done a year and a half of them. So
Right, we have.
yeah, we got
Yes.
another half a year to go. I love it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it. Trish, good luck
Thank you.
with
I
the
want to thank
tournament.
all of the division boards and all the EDs too, because they do a lot of work that we don't know about. But thank you, and thanks to the office staff. Brian, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. All the best.